So this is the new rail terminal building I'm building in my Minecraft city Oshix. It's currently under construction, a work in progress, but I'm going to show you guys what I've done so far. So let me sit down and we'll start from the beginning. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so this started a few days ago, and I was watching some old videos about the Eurostar terminal at Waterloo International Station and the architecture around the sort of canopy over the platforms. I'll show some pictures on screen right now, and I thought I kind of want to build that in my Minecraft city, so I gave it a go. I've only got one screenshot of what it looked like then. There it is. As you can see, it's not particularly pretty. The prismarine bricks are just, it doesn't look clean, it looks very janky. But I managed to try and continue. I managed to add the Vitar line platforms, the elevated platforms that go over the main concourse where the rail link trains go, which is basically National Rail but in Linkland. But I really hated it, so I just deleted all of it. And then I worked on this new station and the new canopy, which I'm going to show you around right now. So initially, as you saw in the picture, it was a symmetrical canopy shape, but this time I wanted to do something a bit funky. So I've gone for this. It's kind of curved at this end, and then it's a slope. So I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I did it anyway, and it actually looks really good. I really like it because it sort of got that low feeling here, but then you've got a really wide and airy sort of atmosphere on the other side of the station. So that's what I started with, that canopy, and I just laid out the main platforms here. But obviously this station is going to need some sort of metro connection, so I've got the Vitar line here. It's always planned to come to Vitar Street, which is the name of this station, by the way. As you can tell in the name, Vitar Street, Vitaria. So the line was kind of named after this street in mind. And the line comes from this station here, Agustin Lane South. It just curves around here, and then it goes into this sort of elevated station inside a station, if you get what I'm saying. And this actually took so long to get right. It was a pain to, because it's a four track configuration with an express track down the middle that doesn't stop at the station. So to get everything working fine was such a pain. But anyway, also, by the way, it's not right on the ground, as you can see, it's floating, because the plan is to have a river over here. So essentially, Central Oshix is going to be sandwiched in between two rivers which have two confluences at each end, so it's essentially an island. And this is going to have a really magnificent bridge that goes over that river, which is why it's raised. So once I finished the canopy, I started on doing the metro connection part of the station. So I had to have 4 platforms, 2 for the local services, which is on the outside tracks, and 2 for the express services, which are on the inside tracks. Even though Vitar Street is a major station, it's a big interchange, I thought that maybe sometimes if service pattern changes or it was really busy or something like that, you could run express trains all the way through from wherever this is going to come from, all the way through past the Vitar Street, not stopping, and then not stopping at this station, not stopping at this station, and then ending up at the station they stop at, which is Shorebank Interchange. Anyway, I decided to do that, and yeah, it's a bit confusing, this track configuration. So outside tracks, we can just ignore those because they're local, they just stay to themselves. But the express tracks, this one, you get slowed down a bit and then you have to press the button if you want to go this way in the middle, and it switches the track and you go here. But if you're coming from this way, because it's a single track for both directions, you automatically go onto the correct side running express track. And it's a similar situation on the other side, but I had to modify the slowing down bit because when you have the lever or button or whatever to switch the direction of the track, it's always facing in one direction. It favors one direction over the other, so I had to do some redstone business down on the bottom here to make it inverted at the beginning, but then, as you can see, if I press the button, it flips it the correct way. And this is one of the first stations I built since 1.20 Minecraft update came out, so I wanted to experiment a bit with the new blocks. So as you can see, I've used the dark oak hanging signs as a sort of railing, and that's actually really cool. I like that. And then also, where you see I've got these roundels on the side, I've put some designs on the decorated pots, and I've put some end rods on top just to add a bit of light. This is just mirrored on both sides, and you've got some arches at this end and some smaller arches at this end, and I think that just really comes together so nicely because it's such an interesting station. You've got the main platforms, the main sort of mainline train platforms here, but then perpendicular to them, raised above, elevated, you've got the metro platforms, which is quite cool. So once I did that, I had to really maneuver around these platforms because they're quite low, and so initially, right, this was meant to be the platform level, and I was going to have that the same level throughout the whole concourse. But obviously, if this is the height of the tracks, then it's just going to be 2 blocks wide, and that's not very good. So I had to have some slopes down, or slabs. I like to imagine they're slopes though, just so we have some more headroom. I still had to have this sort of, because there's redstone torches underneath powering those rails there. So what I did, I made it look like some sort of AC or ventilation or something. I also made it slope down here, but I think the arches which support the elevated platforms it was really cool, because when you come in from the ticket hall, you come through the barriers, you come into this like waiting room area, which is quite low, but then when you come through the arches, it just opens up into this massive glass canopy, which is really striking. Oh, also I've used decorated pots for the roundels here as well. I've done some different designs though. I've also just put some benches here for waiting, and so essentially, right, these middle platforms here for the express Vitar line services, I don't know how to put lifts here because I'm trying to make as much of the Oshix Metro step-free as I can, because accessibility is king, right? But for this one, right, because it's on the side and the tracks go inwards like that, there's room for to actually have lifts or bubble elevators. But then on this one, I can't. It's so tight because of the tracks, and also I'm not sure how it will look with this archway here. So if you have a suggestion, leave it down below. So that is pretty much the Vitar line platforms done. I will, by the way, put some signs and wayfinding here because I just haven't had the chance to do that, and this is a confusing station. There's loads of different service patterns and destinations going on here. But I've done a few bits of wayfinding, like I've got these platform signs of which way the platform is. I've got the signs to the Vitar line, exit signs, tickets and assistance, and also this big sign at the front, which is in banners. Vitar Street is really cool, and I will talk about the front in a minute. I just want to talk about the ticket office and the gate line. So I decided to have the gate line inside the arches, which I think is just the best decision because it's all flush and everything just really it works together, because you've got the full height canopy here in the ticket office, and then when you come through the arches, that is when you've got the lower ceiling in this like waiting area, and then bam, you've got the full size canopy there again. So it's just the perfect place to put the gates. I think there's enough gates. I mean, it's a big station, but then you've also got a small. I mean, yeah, you've got a smaller gate line here for the Vitar line. It's just got 2 singles and a wide one for to access the Vitar line platforms, but you can still access the Vitar line platforms if you just come through the main gate line, and then you've got these passageways on the side here right by the staircase. And I feel like I need to do something more with this waiting area. It hasn't really got much natural light, because the ceiling, you can't have the light from the ceiling. This wall, the staircase here, you can't have natural light. You get a bit of natural light from both sides, but the archways just make it feel a bit constricted. And there were windows here, but let me show you. This is where there's like a maintenance room with the redstone is and stuff for this, as you can see, right under all the this junction, all the points and stuff. So there's not really much natural light, but I want to make this place interesting, because right now it's a bit bland. These benches are boring. And also throughout the city since 1.20 came out, I've literally not been. So I've used like the bamboo. I've been using bamboo quite a lot. So like, for example, if I come over here, I've used these bamboo mosaic stairs in this building over here, and then if I come to this area here, I've used like the bamboo doors and stuff. And the cherry blossoms, I've used a lot of cherry blossoms. But the cherry wood, I'm not, because it's not really, it doesn't really fit the theme of the city. Doesn't have a theme, but it doesn't fit the overall vibe of the city, if you get what I'm saying. Because if you're walking in like London or New York or something, you wouldn't expect to see. I mean, obviously you will see some oddly coloured buildings, but it's hard to make it look good, blend in to a degree, but suit the surroundings. But I think I just wanted to use cherry wood in some place, so I snuck this little strip of cherry wood right under this platform on the archways. I think it looks alright. Yeah, it looks fine. That's a bit of an understatement. I've also, you can see I've used the dark oak hanging signs here as well. These work so good as railings. As soon as they were announced, I remember loads of different YouTubers and people on social media and stuff were saying these would be perfect for railings, and they really are. Let's talk about the ticket office. So I've just got these. Ignore the shulker box. That's literally the banners I had for the sign. I don't want to get rid of them. I'm going to put them somewhere in the world. We've just got a really basic ticket office here. I'm going to put some chairs and bookshelves and stuff inside. Like, if I show you, I will come over to the other terminus station in Central Oshix, which is Imperial Central. This one's still a work in progress. This ticket office here, it's got that sort of. I mean, this one just looks a bit nicer because the kind of shapes and stuff in this station, it just makes it look much more, how would you describe it? Rounded, flamboyant, because you've got all these arches everywhere, and it's really nice. I mean, we have got arches in this station as well, but because the roof of Imperial Central, this station, has arches as well, it just, yeah, anyway, you can see if we've got the chairs and the ticket, not an oyster, I mean, if it was London, it'd be an Oyster card reader, just a Metro card reader, I guess, I don't know what it'd be called. And then you've got the bookshelves. I mean, it just really makes it look really good. And then also on the Metro Underground, you've got this little ticket office here. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I'm going to decorate the inside of those. I mean, they look fine. They're sort of like buildings inside, but yeah. And also these lamps. Because when I'd finished the ticket office area, and I turned the time to midnight, and I was like, this needs a bit of light, because if you've got a late night train, right, you've got to have the light in the ticket office to buy your ticket or speak to a member of staff about something. So yeah, I will show you some nighttime shots after this, by the way. Before we talk about, no, let's talk about the front. So, what I didn't want to have the front bit flush with this line of red terracotta here, because I feel like that would make the ticket office a bit, or the ticket hall a bit too cramped. Plus, also I'd already built these ticket booths, I guess, and they lined up with this, so I had to have the wall one forward. But I feel like because I recessed it inwards and downwards as well as forwards, it sort of rounds out the front a bit and just makes it look a bit thicker and sturdier. And then this is one of my favourite parts of this station. We've got two entrances, right? And I've just put some trapdoors here to divide it between that and the glass. But the glass, I think I've used this zigzag pattern so much because it's really, especially with Optifine, if you've got two similar coloured glass, use the zigzag technique because it just makes it. It's like stained glass, but it's not that detailed. It's really it's subtle, but it looks cool. I think there's actually that pattern in, yeah, if you come in Imperial Central, we've got the black stained glass and the cyan stained glass. It's like a stained glass window effect, like in a church or something, but it's just simple, it's geometric, it's quite elegant. And yeah, that's why I did it on the front. And then because the station is raised up, oh, by the way, a lot of Central Oshix is raised up, but this bit is going to be a sunken area. So I had these steps coming down from the station to street level. I've only done this part of the road so far. It's sort of similar to Wembley Park Station on the London Underground, except these stairs aren't that steep, are they? And then, I think this is one of the last things I'm gonna show you so far on this station. Oh, I forgot about that. Is this bit. So, if you take, for example, I'm going to refer to London quite a bit here. St Pancras Station, or St Pancras International. You've got like a shopping area inside the station, or part of the same building. And I wanted to have some sort of shopping area inside this station, but obviously there's no room here. But since I knew that this station was going to be raised off the ground, I thought let's just have a shopping center underneath the station. So I've just built this long corridor so far with arches. Who would have thought arches again? And this light design. This, by the way, is just a blank. It's one of these black maps. I've just filled an entire map with black and locked it so I can use it for like TVs and screens and stuff. So then we're gonna have lots of different shops here, divided, and also this stone brick sort of thing. It's really cool because it feels really strong and supportive on top of this ginormous station. But then, before we get to that bit, I wanted to, instead of having just a plain, whoopsie daisies, a plain red terracotta wall like a lot of, well actually it's not that much, but like here it just gets a bit bland, doesn't it? So I decided to have a zigzag pattern. Who would have thought? But this time it's not with glass, it's with concrete. And these colours are the 6 lines so far of the Oshix Metro. So we've got the cyan for the Imperial line. We've got the red for the Vitaria line. Yeah, I chose the red colour for the station, because Vitar Street Vitaria is it's like the Vitaria line's sort of hub station, if you will. So I chose red because the line colour's red. Blue is for the Navasta line. I don't think I've mentioned it on the channel before. It's literally 3 stops so far. I haven't built any further than that, and it's in the south of the river. South it's barely anything so far. That's the Navasta line. We've got the Saturn line. There's this nice dark green. This Saturn line actually is planned to come to Vitar Street soon. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I might have some sort of like subways going down from here, or like underground foot passages, because right now the not Vitaria, Saturn line, yeah, so it's this one here. It curves round, and then right now it just stops at Imperial Central, but then in the future, probably in the next few weeks or so, it's going to continue straight on, curve around, and then have a stop underneath Vitar Street. So that's the Staten line. It also I'll just show you quickly. So it's weird because this line has got the tracks on top of each other, similar to like Barcelona line 9 and 10, except we don't have the station inside the tunnel wall. It's like Minecraft though, isn't it? Comes around to Laren Street Station, which is here, and then separates off a bit, comes round to Drone Street. This is all very much work in progress. Curves around. There's three different metro lines on top of each other right here. So you've got the Saturn line on the bottom, and you've got the Oshix Loop line here, and then literally so close above it, you've got the Imperial line. Even though these 3 lines are so close, the Imperial line, right, it curves off before this station Parliament here, so there's no interchange. I mean, there's basically, these stations are so close together, it's basically an interchange, because you could walk down here, and then it's an out of station interchange. But then they do, the Oshix Loop line and the Imperial line do get an interchange here, and in a few other places. So that's the Staten line, and then the next line is Oshix Loop line. I've showed you it's gonna be a loop around Central Oshix. It's a bit of a wobbly loop, if that's how I would describe it, because it's not actually, On the map it will show a loop because it's going round in a circle, but it's not like a circle. So it just comes here from Marina Street, interchange with the Archway line. So it's gonna and then High Hill Station. It has an emergency staircase, right? But it doesn't have escalators. It has lifts, which I think is quite fun. Then after that, it goes. I will do a whole video about one street station because there is so much going on here. All the tunnels and the underground station. Yep. But then there is a limited, like, peak hours Oshix loop line service that goes. So it goes past the depot, which is underground actually, and then it just terminates at Oshix. No, not Oshix. Imperial Central. If there's just as like a place to stop, because you know if you got loop lines, there's a delay. It causes a knock-on effect on the whole line. Shorebank interchange I mentioned before. Terrafield High Street. It's got some incredibly curved platforms at this station. I don't know why I built it like that, but I did. I think I wanted to experiment. Terrafield Park Station and Parliament we've shown you already before. I'm just this section of the video has turned into me giving you an overview of all the metro lines in Oshix. Archway line, that's literally a shuttle service at the moment, if I can find it. So comes from Marina Street. You will see in these platforms because I did a time-lapse video on it a few months ago, I want to say. Link will be in the top right hand corner of your screen. That little card will pop up. It's a good one. I had great fun building the station. It was quite a pain to figure out the replay mod because that was my first time using the replay mod. But anyway, it comes from Marina Street under the river and to what's the station called again? Indusk Delta Central, which is a very weird station. I'll probably do a video on it as well. That's all the metro lines, and that's all of them in that mural with the zigzag pattern, my favourite. So yeah, it does really look cool, and then I can have some sort of, I don't know, a trendy fashion shop or something. I don't know what shopping centres have. And last thing I'm going to talk about today in this video, because it's getting nearly half an hour long recording, I don't know if I've edited anything out, is the shopping centre entrance of Vitar Street. There's no ticket hall or anything, it's just a few gates, and you've got the sign. It just says Vitar Street multiple times, and then you've got passageway, and it comes out here. If you saw this staircase when I was showing you this area. And I think that's pretty much the station so far. It's pretty much done. I just need to do some more wayfinding, add some details and stuff. Obviously, the line needs to go somewhere, so the Vitar line will eventually go this way. I haven't planned it at all yet. And then the mainline trains, they're gonna converge a bit, and then there's gonna be a river here, and they're gonna go on this amazing bridge over the river. And then obviously the Staten line is gonna have to come from Imperial Central. I think I'm gonna make it come out a bit further, right? Come round, have an intermediate station somewhere around here, come back in, and then come to Vitar Street. But that is pretty much the station so far. Don't think I've missed anything out. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends, comment below, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video, whether it's a full-length video, a YouTube short. There's a lot of random stuff going on this channel right now, but I'll see you next time. Goodbye.